Now let's talk about Ashton and have a look at his chart, because I have a feeling he is going to be even more in the news very soon. This boy has a lot of air in his chart. Gemini rising, and then he has that Gemini stellium. It's a massive Gemini stellium. Huge. He has Mercury, the Sun, Moon, so he's a new moon baby, and Venus there, all very close to his MC in Aquarius. He technically has some strong Sagittarius energy too, because of all that ninth house stellium and Jupiter being in his first house. So it's giving like Sag Jupiterian vibes too, like adventurous, humorous, But what I will say is this guy has connections. He has a lot of friends all around the world with that Aquarius stellium in the ninth house. He's very, very well connected. And I just find it interesting because Venus usually represents like love, women, relationships, money. He's got his in Aquarius, which is friendships, networking, in the ninth house, which is foreign lands, travel, importing, exporting. I don't know, it kind of seems very interesting when you think about the stuff that he's currently being linked to with a certain somebody right now. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get any negative focus here. But I will say, this looks suspicious. And this chart is someone that's very, very intellectual and very smart. Gemini rising, Aquarius stellium. Very airy, very logical, very smart. And he has a Scorpio 6th house with Uranus, which is like the planet of like friends and groups. And Scorpio tells me that his everyday work and things that he is involved in could be things that maybe you could get in a lot of trouble for. When we think about Scorpio energy, we think about sex. We think about trauma. We think about psychology. We think about secrets and scandals. We think about the hidden. We think about things that people don't want to know about and shouldn't know about. It has a lot of trauma and crisis revolved around it with that Scorpio energy. Don't get me wrong, there can be a positive side to Scorpio energy, like, the transformative, powerful side. And I think he deals with powerful people every day for work, rich people. I think that there could be really big themes of sex and I'll just leave it at that one, shall I? With that Aquarius stellium as well, he comes across as the humanitarian, the guy that stands up for a cause, the guy that sheds lights on these sorts of things. But wouldn't it be interesting if all the stuff that he says that publicly he's against and his humanitarian front might be a bit of a cover-up, or maybe not the truth? And don't even get me started on the age and the relationships of people that he had going on in that 70s show. If you know their age and what was going on, interesting. He does have that Mars in Cancer, which is more passive-aggressive, very emotionally volatile. But I would say a Mars in Cancer generally would make women feel somewhat comfortable because it's more soft and probably feels a little bit more safe. But interesting that, he has a way of making people probably feel comfortable. It is very much telling a big part of this whole story here, because your Mars is your motivation and how you take action. And his is kind of giving off like that Cancerian home, women, the mother type vibe. So, that motivates him, his home and family. Now, although we've already been hearing a little bit about him in the news, we might hear a bit more. I don't think it's anything too major for 2025 and 2026. But when that North Node is in Aquarius, which we will see towards the end of 2026. And in 2027, he is going to be front and center in the limelight. What is going to be happening over the next 18 months that's going to kind of lead to a big explosion for him somehow? Like, he's going to be getting a lot of attention when that North Node starts to pass over all of his planets. And the first one is going to be Venus. And then his MC, which is the most public part of your chart. In the 9th house, we might see some legal stuff, court stuff maybe, who knows, or just stuff to link to foreign lands, foreign relationships, that kind of stuff. Yeah, let's watch this space when the North Node and the eclipses start happening in both Aquarius and Leo for him. Yeah. And also Pluto is going to be pretty much this year and 2026 and 2027 pretty much on his Mercury. And then over the next few years, it's going to go all over the other planets. Don't get me wrong, Pluto's a super slow moving planet, so it's not going to hit those last few ones for some time. But yeah, it's going to make a bit of turmoil and crisis when it comes to that Mercury of his, which just so happens to rule his first house of his physical body and his self-identity, his image. Yeah. And then the 4th house, that Virgo 4th house of home and family. That North Node and those eclipses are going to be quite interesting coming up for him in the next year and a half to 2 years when they start to happen. I'm going to watch this space. This is a bit of predictive because it's about a year and a half to 2 years away before we get that energy. But I think he's going to be very, very public, very, very much being talked about very, very soon.